Hello everybody, my name is, I really don't care what my name is, and welcome to my third Versus video and my first video of 2015. I'm so glad that I've made it to this year, and I hope I continue making more videos, maybe until I get my 50th, maybe until I get my 100th, who knows? Let's see how far I'll get. So, today I'm going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Avatar wins. Well, true, they have some great stories and episodes, but I'm going to focus more on the characters than on the episodes and stories. So for this, I'm going to focus on the supporting characters like Zuko, Katara, and Sokka, Mako, Bolin, Asami, the main villains, and of course the main characters. So let's get started with the supporting characters, shall we? We have Zuko, Katara, and Sokka against Mako, Bolin, and Asami. All great characters. They're all great to watch, and I like how we get to know more about their background. But for me, I think Avatar does a better job with the backgrounds for some of these characters. I mean, with Katara and Sokka, we find out that they had a mother who was killed during a Fire Nation raid because they thought she was a waterbender, but turns out she lied to protect her daughter, who was the last waterbender in their tribe. We also found out that Zuko has got a big troubled past as well. I mean, he had a mother that he loved very much, but she left to protect him and to also, help the father become the Fire Lord so that they can spare Zuko's life. Of course, he just doesn't really care about that. He just wants to become the Fire Lord, which he does. And we also learn about how he ended up getting scarred, getting that burned scar on his face. Turns out he spoke out against a general during a meeting, and his father, seeing him, very disrespectful, fights his son, who he thought was going to fight that general. Zuko refused to fight his father, and his father, feeling that his son's a disgrace, decides to burn him and kick him out, telling him that he can come back if he brings back the Avatar. Takes years for that to happen, but yeah, I mean, wow, it's a really troubled past for that kid. Now, I'm not saying that the characters in Legend of Korra don't have troubled past. I mean, Mako and Bolin, they lost their parents at a young age, growing up in the streets, even becoming criminals in order to survive, later giving up that life to be pearlbenders. But yeah, I mean, that's a troubled past as well. We also know that Asami's mother was killed by firebenders, I think. But we don't get to see a flashback of that. I mean, in Legend of Korra, we don't see much flashbacks for some of these characters. But in Avatar, we see the flashback. We see what happens, and you feel bad for these characters, especially after all they've gone through. Legend of Korra, we don't get to see much. They're mentioned, but we don't get to spend more time on this topic because the episodes are short. So, just 13 episodes each one. And Avatar, we have more episodes, and we get more time on this topic, on this story. So, yeah, I mean, you feel bad for these characters. But in the end, in my view, Avatar has got the better supporting characters, especially with all they do. I mean, yeah, in Korra, they do much, but in Avatar, I think it's even more. They're fighting in a war. They're traveling around the world, fighting in different fights, in different wars, and trying to help save the world, trying to help the Avatar save the world. So they do more in that. And Korra, yeah, they do a lot, but not as much as these other characters. I mean, Zuko, he even took a lightning bolt to the chest to save Katara from his sister. Yeah, I know, Mako got sapped as well, but that scene there was, very good. It was well done, so I like that a lot. I also, Bolin is trying to be the comic relief. Sorry, the comic relief, but in my view, Sokka's the better one. He's funnier, and he doesn't turn his back on his brother on his family like Bolin has done plenty of times. He didn't help his brother during season 2, even though his brother asked him for his help. He acted more like a celebrity snob during that part of that episode and refused to help his brother. Yeah, he does help him out later on, but still, just that part alone was wow. And Asami, yeah, she's a great character too, but not as much as Katara or Zuko. I mean, both characters have done so well during the episodes, and as they quickly and over time changed. Katara, she went from being this village girl, and over time she began getting stronger. She began helping people, even trying to keep the group together whenever there's problems, and that's one thing I liked about her is she's able to do all that. And hell, she even shows her aggressive side when when she's confronted with the man who killed her mother, but she still forgave the guy, and was able to move on. So, in my view, Avatar: The Last Airbender's got better supporting characters. Legend of Korra's got good supporting characters, but not as much as Avatar, so they win this round. So let's now get to the villains. Wow, I took a lot of time with the supporting characters. So the villains are, in Avatar, Ozai and Azula. Both great villains, both crazy, and both on destroying everything in order to get what they want. In Legend of Korra, we got a lot of villains, but I'm focusing more on Sahir and Kuvira. Now, I like the villains of Avatar, but in my view, the Legend of Korra's got these two are better villains than Azula and Ozai. Here's the thing, Sahir, he's part of this group called the Red Lotus, and he wants to overthrow the governments and let the people take charge, even if that means killing people in order to get to their goal. Even if that means killing the Avatar to get to their goal. That's pretty much what they want to do. Kuvira, she wants to unite the nations together. She wants to rebuild the Earth Kingdom, bring them back together, instead of being separated, but bring them back into one full nation. Even if that means enslaving people, even if that means creating a weapon of destruction, even if that means almost killing her fiancé. She doesn't care. She will go that far to get what she wants. Now, I'm not saying that Avatar: The Last Airbender doesn't have their villains do the same thing. Azula, she is nuts. She is crazy. She will do whatever it takes to win. Even if that means during her fight against her brother, even if that means trying to cheat in that fight. But, in the end, she got her ass handed to her, and she just broke down. She knew she'd lost, and she broke down crying in tears, and we find out what happened to her later on, but still, wow. Ozai, the same thing. He's willing to do anything to get where he is, to get to power, to be, just the ruler of everything. Getting his wife, blackmailing her into killing the grandfather in order for him to become Fire Lord, and exchange Zuko's life is spared. Even trying to destroy the Earth Kingdom by incinerating it all. I mean, that's a pretty cool villain. But in my view, Sahir and Kuvira are still better villains than these two. Sahir, he uses airbending philosophy to try to act like he's better than everyone. He's way stronger too, also. Able to use airbending to kill people? I've never seen that before. I've always seen Aang and the other airbenders use them for, kind of defense and trying to, stay alive. But this guy, he killed the Earth Queen, sucking the air out of her. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a badass, and he really is a badass. He was even able to stand up against Korra in her full Avatar state, kicking her ass and almost killing her. This guy can even fly! Yeah, I'm not saying that Ozai can't fly either, but still, that guy can fly. He doesn't need some fire to help him fly around. He just flies around like he's freaking Superman. Even though he's a bad guy, yeah. And Kuvira, the same thing. She will do whatever it takes to get where she is, but she doesn't break down and cries like Azula did. She won't. Well, she will stoop so low to try to get where she is, but hey, she has her reasons. I mean, this girl was an orphan, and she wanted to unite the nations together, even if that means doing it the wrong way. But yeah, in my view, these two came close to killing the Avatar. Now, I'm not saying Ozai didn't come close, neither did Azula, but these two came even closer and better in my view. I mean, hell, Zahir caused the Avatar. He caused Korra to you know, go through all these problems for the last 3 years, giving Kuvira time to get to where she is, even building a weapon using spiritual vines. That doesn't show how cool of a villain they are, then, you know, nothing will. Now, like I said, Avatar's got some great villains, but in my view, Korra's are better. So, this one goes to Korra. Now we get to the main characters, Aang and Korra. Who's the better Avatar? Who's gonna win this fight for their show? Well, this one was, you know, a little tough for me to decide because, you know, they're great avatars, both of them. Both have gone through so much to try to help restore balance in the world, trying to help bring peace. They've gone through so much, and, you know, it's hard for me to decide which one is better. But I think, in a way, we should try focusing on how they got to where they are, what they've done on their journey, and how things ended for them. I'm not going to include the comics into this, so yeah. So for these two, they both grew up in different lifestyles. I mean, Aang grew up in the air temples with the air nomads, and he was raised on the beliefs of what they believed on. He was even raised by a very good friend who was his mentor, who was also his best friend. Forgot his name. Monkey. I forgot the name. Sorry, but yeah, he didn't know he was the Avatar until later on, when he found out that he was destined to help restore balance to the world. And when he found out that he was going to be separated from his best friend, Aang, you know, thought, you know, I can't do this. I can't do it. I gotta get away. And he does. He does run away with his pet Appa, but they ended up crashing into the water during a storm, and he uses his air avatar powers to freeze them both, saving them from drowning and keeping them frozen for 100 years. Now, you know, in Legend of Korra, it's different. She grew up isolated from the world, growing up training by the White Lotus to become the Avatar. So she accepted her role. She accepted her role as the Avatar. She didn't run away like Aang did. She stayed close to her family. She stayed close to her friend Katara, and she was able to master earth, water, and fire. Air, she still hasn't been able to learn that, but you know, it doesn't matter. She's a pretty badass Avatar. And, you know, when she does get to learn airbending, it takes her time. It takes her time to learn airbending, and she has to go through so much, even while dealing with a main villain like Amon. And Avatar, Aang, when he finally does resurface, thanks to Katara, he has to learn all these elements: water, fire, and earth. And that takes some time, but during that time, he goes through so much stuff, even telling his friends what happened to him and how he ended up frozen. Now, for Korra, she's gone through a lot during her travel. She dealt with Amon, losing her bending before Aang helped restore her bending. Then she had to go on a spiritual quest after losing her memory against a spirit, and learned about the first Avatar and how the whole cycle began, and almost got killed by her uncle and the evil spirit Vatu, but thanks to her friends, she was able to find that power she needed and was able to help defeat Vatu and her uncle. Then we see her going through more problems as well, trying to find all these airbenders, trying to restore the airbending nation, while also dealing with the criminals, Sahir and the Red Lotus. Even coming close to being killed. She was poisoned, from what I found out, mercury, and she came close to dying. And after that, 3 years passed by, and she was struggling to try to get back on her feet, trying to be the Avatar she used to be, and we see what she has to go through to get where she is. And eventually, she does become the avatar she needs to be. After, confronting her demons, after confronting Sekir in his prison, and realizes that she has been afraid of death, she's been afraid of dying, and after confronting that, after finally getting through that, she was able to become a better avatar. Yeah, she can still kick some ass, but she's also merciful, and she was able to even help save Kavira from being killed. And, oh, you know what happens next. For Aang, he has to go through a lot of shit as well. He finds out what happened to his nation, what happened to the Airbenders. He also has to, deal with all these other struggles, including going all pissed off Avatar mode, and having Katara having to save him from himself, almost getting killed by Azula, struggling to keep himself from being known to everybody that he was alive, because everyone thought he was dead, and even struggling much to try to not kill the Fire Lord, because that would go up against everything he was taught. But for me, I think Korra, like I explained, has a better, backstory, and has a better struggles, and she succeeded in becoming a better avatar. Aang, yeah, he ended up saving the world, not killing the Fire Lord, but in my view, Korra, I think, is the better avatar, because she goes through more shit than him, she comes close to dying more times than him, and she's able to overcome all that to be a better avatar, even keeping the spiritual portals open and creating a new one. So, in my view, I know I'm probably going to get some people who are going to say, that's bullshit, Aang is better. Well, yeah, you have your opinions, but in my view, Korra is the better avatar. She has become a better avatar than when she first started, from being a hothead to being who she is now. Aang, he did change as he continued his journey, but he still acts the same. And yeah, he does become a little wiser, but I think in my view, Korra is just better, because she has to go through all this, while Aang just has to go through not so much. He does go a lot, but not as much as what Korra had to go through. So, my view, Korra wins this, so that means Avatar The Last Bender. Sorry guys, but Legend of Korra kicked your ass with the characters. So, if you guys have a different opinion about what I just said, leave some comments below, let me know what you think. I will be here next time to give you more love and more entertainment, and I will also be here next time, hopefully, to have another video that I was supposed to upload last week, but I decided I was going to wait. And this video is a review for a movie that's considered one of the worst animated movies ever. I think one of the top 10. No, it's not Food Fight. I will never, ever review that movie. So, take care everybody. See you all next time. And that movie sucks.